Hello everyone. This morning I thought I'd talk to you about transformational books. I've got lots of books that I'd like to talk to you about because throughout history people have tried to transform themselves and recorded it in various forms. And so I thought I'd talk first about George Perec. George Perec, in The Species and Spaces of Other Places, it's about talking about ways to organise your life, ways to change your life through organisation, through changing your space, through changing the way you interact with things around you. And one of them, is talking about his apartment and how he arranges his apartment. And there's a whole section on arranging your books, which to whether you arrange them chronologically, in order of the genre, in order of the author, or things that go together in your own sort of idiosyncratic order. So order of life, and I think that the order of life. So George Perec is very much about the order of life. He also wrote Life a User's Manual, and also a novel that excluded the letter E. So he wrote a whole novel without the letter E, which is really interesting. So that idea of organising your life and changing your life through that organisation was quite interesting, because the whole point of life is that we try to create order through chaos. And so that's why I think starting George here is really interesting, that we should, if I try and read you some of it actually. So space. So the world and space seem to be a mirror, one of the other, both minutely stored in hieroglyphs and ideograms, and each of them could equally well not be or not be a sign. A calcareous concentration on basalt, a ridge raised on by the wind and coagulated sand of the desert, the arrangement of the eyes and the feathers of the peacock, living in the midst of signs that very slowly has brought us to see so many signs, the innumerable things that at first had been there without indicating anything but their own presence. It had transformed them into signs of themselves, and had added them to a series of signs deliberately made by whoever wanted to make a sign. This is actually from Calvino that he's quoting, from Cosmic Comics. But her whole idea of signs and how we live and organisation and trying to find order through signs in life is interesting. So starting with space and how we use space around us, it's like my house. My house works around me, and I work within the house and within the limits of the house. And I think it's a really important point about how you live, and how you live is what this project is about. Recently, I was in town, and I was given this, the Holy Bible, which often, at times in town there are lots of religious people and people who would like you to change your life through God, and that's a lot of people do change their life through God, and the Holy Bible is the book for Christians anyway that helps you to do that, and that idea of doing good and changing your life through good deeds, through good acts, through living in a good way. So that's another transformational book. And then we come on to thinking about an art project. And if you're thinking about an art project and how to present that art project, that transformation or that change, Sophie Kell is one of the best people for this, because she creates rules and boundaries that she has to work within for each project. This book, Double Game, was about that a writer called Paul Auster wrote about her in a book fictionally, calling her Maria Callas, and stating all the strange art projects she did. And because he wrote about her and made up these art projects, she decided to actually do those art projects. So these are some of them in here. It was in Leviathan. That's the book that he wrote it in. So she does all of those projects. One of them is this one, where she eats the same colour food all day, for Monday orange, Tuesday red, Wednesday white, Thursday green, and Friday yellow, Saturday pink, and there are all the foods. But see how it's edited and put together. It's just a way of editing the book and putting it together as a piece of art and documenting that process. And here's the next one. If I find another one. That's, yes. So, if I go to the wardrobe. So I saw him for the first time in December 1985, a lecture he was giving. I found him attractive, but one thing bothered me: he was wearing an ugly tie. The next day I anonymously sent him a thin brown tie. Later I saw him in a restaurant and he was wearing it. Unfortunately it clashed with his shirt. It was then I decided that to take the task of dressing him from head to toe, I would send him one article of clothing every year at Christmas. So this is what she did: send a stranger one article of clothing every year at Christmas. So, in 1986, he received a pair of silk grey socks. In 1987, an alpaca sweater. In 1988, a white shirt. In 1989, a pair of gold-plated cufflinks. Down here, look. In 1990, a pair of boxer shorts with Christmas tree pattern. Nothing in 91, and in 92, a pair of grey trousers. Someday, when he is fully dressed by me, I would like to be introduced to him. But that at least was my resolution. But in 1993, when it came to his shoes, I was far from France. The distance, a botched inquiry, and my constant fear of making a tragic mistake over his size overcame my professional conscientiousness. The outfit was remained incomplete. My man has no coat and goes barefoot. These are the sort of projects. And that took years. That was years and years. And that was transforming someone else through items of clothing, which I think is a great project. And patience, and that idea of trying to get the right size, the dressing him how you think he should dress, but transformation just through the clothes. And that's really interesting. And here's another one: Teachings of Gurdjieff. Teachings of Gurdjieff. Gurdjieff was a kind of strange character, a sort of almost like a cult leader. And he had followers, and this is the journey of a pupil. It's a very strange book, but in it actually he also uses yoga as one of the practices, sort of a deep meditation or yoga, but also forms of punishment to stop the pupil becoming complacent, I suppose. So he uses forms of punishment. So the guy actually cuts himself and damages himself to punish himself for doing the wrong thing or thinking the wrong thoughts, to try and train his mind to think only the right thoughts that Gurdjieff says are the right thoughts to think, which is quite a strange journey. But people do take strange journeys in life, and that's why I'm including it here. It's a strange journey. Again, simple art project, instruction paintings, Yoko Ono. These are just instructions as paintings, done in the I think it was the 1960s, and if I find the 1961. Painting to see the skies. Drill 2 holes in a canvas. Hang it where you can see the sky. Change the place of the hanging. Try both the front and the rear windows to see if the skies are different. Painting for the wind. Cut a hole in a bag filled with the seeds of any kind and place the bag where there is wind. 1961 summer. Painting to be constructed in your head. Look through a phone book from the beginning to end thoroughly. There used to be phone books, people really did. List all the combinations of figures that you remember right after that. A plus B painting. Let someone other than yourself cut out a part of a canvas A. Paste the cut-out piece on the same point of canvas B. Line up canvas A and B and hang them adjacent to each other. You may use blank canvases or paintings or photographs to do this piece. So these are paintings. These are paintings that exist in the form of an instruction. So they're already a piece of art in the instruction, but they can also become pieces of art that you make. And so I like that idea of something imaginary being transformed into something real. and that the basis of art. And I like the boundaries of the instruction. And I think the boundaries of the instruction are a really important part of any project, that you've got a boundary to work within, because if you have too much freedom and too much, you can do anything. The project won't stay on track. Sophie Cal, Yoko Ono, they understood that you needed boundaries. Even Gurdjieff, he had a set of rules and boundaries to work within as the pupils. The Bible, boundaries and instructions. So all of these things work on instructions and boundaries, and that's what I'm hoping that I can do within my own project. And then it's working out how to present that project as a final piece, to become something beautiful and transformational, and hopefully inspiring. So I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, thanks very much.